How many sponsors do you have? And how do you get sponsors?
I mean, aren't these things that could be asked after the show?
Also, why is your podcast not free?
Oh, it's not free.
It's free.
Oh, it is?
It's free for the audience.
Don't I have to subscribe and pay money?
You don't have to pay money.
Oh my God, that's the only reason I haven't been listening to it.
How much did you think it would have cost that you wouldn't have paid for it?
$33,000.
$20 an episode?
No, like $20 for the podcast.
So for $20 you would have gotten it all, and you would have
Too
watched
much.
it.
Too much.
Jesus. It's free.
God, now, okay, I'll listen to it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I would say later. There you go.
Now you step here.
Step here, right. So the socks touch the hardwood and the rugs.
Here, then I would
This is TYSO. I put my water there.
begin with that question.
How much money are you making?
So much money.
I can tell.
That's why nothing works. And by the way, I'm gonna need you to pay me back for that coffee.
Yeah.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah!
So Larry,
Yeah.
how are you?
Good.
You're the only one that I have in the microphone really well.
Uh-huh.
Could I bring this closer?
How's this? I mean, this has to be perfect, I can tell.
Welcome to another episode of Take Your Shoes Off. My name's Rick Glassman, and on the balcony we have...
Hugh Davidson.
Rachel Ramras.
And Larry Dorf.
You want to see who these people are? Stick around. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. If you're looking for just the right flooring, you need choices. And at Marshall Carpet One, you'll certainly find them.
And
back.
And we're back.
Good. So, it's hot out, so if you see anybody sweating, I know you're a little insecure about it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to give you an undershirt?
No, it's great.
All right, so the Nobodies. I met you guys in 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen you probably 5 times since. And I told Betty today that you are 3 of my favorite people since I moved out here.
Who's Betty?
Betty's my girlfriend.
I mean,
Oh,
take in the remark
very
first.
Wow. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous.
Before you go to the-
I didn't know
I'm
her
a big
name was
fan.
Betty.
How do you know
I
what she
didn't
looks
know her
like?
name. Instagram.
I saw her on Instagram.
I've not seen any of this, but I thank you so much for saying that.
But back
Before
to,
we move
yeah,
to Betty.
we love you.
Thank you.
And we fell in love with you before we met you. Your audition that we
Yeah.
saw on tape
We laughed so hard.
was like, you got the part immediately.
We'll cut to a clip. Do we have it?
No, oh, I didn't bring it.
Could we get it?
Sure.
Really?
I bet we could.
YouTube, it's
His
our
audition?
show. Oh, your audition?
No,
I
I
bet
bet we
that
have
would
it
be-
on an email.
I bet I could find it.
There's so many
And we're
bets.
And you? Hope you're not planning on being a sitcom star, Larry, because I got a news flash for you. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's not gonna happen! We got Melissa who shoot guns on Thursdays! And we have to do a table read for no gun. Why don't we just read it for her tomorrow without the network coming in? Why don't I read you what's obviously not gonna work tomorrow, and you can say, I need a drink, and then next week, when CBS comes, I don't look like a fucking idiot. I'm so hot, I'm sorry.
And we're back.
All right, so I need, I over-communicate. This is both to the audience and to you. I need to, I feel you'll connect with this. I need to find a pocket. I'm not there. I'm feeling overwhelmed
Yes.
because of everything that just happened. I
Yes.
burnt my thumb. I'm hurting a little. Took a pain pill. That's about to kick in.
Okay.
Bear with this as I figure it out. 3 people on the balcony have never experienced this before. It was going to be just the 2 of you. What made you want to include Larry?
Larry really brings out the best in us. So
Are you being serious?
I am being serious. So, because we're married, sometimes it's nice having Larry just, in
Sometimes.
socially, and then we also write together. It's definitely great having Larry. Larry just makes us better people. I'm being serious.
Larry, what do they offer you?
I'm not great one-on-one. I don't... I'm not as... You know what they do? Is they make me slow down a little bit. I think if it was just me and you, I'd be like... I'd be too...
Yeah, I could already tell.
You know.
Yeah, you guys need to chime in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to let people know now because I know you through, coincidentally, a television show called The Nobodies.
No.
No, it was not
just
called The
Nobodies.
Nobodies.
Just Nobodies.
The television show called Nobodies.
No.
Nobodies.
Yep.
Okay, who cares?
Right. No one, apparently.
But there's people that are going to be watching that may not know who you are by face. but they will
That'd be
know,
all of them, surely.
but they will know who you are by voice. 2, 3, 4.
And we're back.
And we're
we're back.
In my head, I really thought you were all on the same page that you were going to sing something.
We're never on the same page.
Paige.
Yeah.
So you guys created a television show called Nobodies, and it was about, it was inspired by real life. I like to think of it as you're the sixth lead.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And could you give a little, like, how would you, I know how I want to do this.
One word story.
No, I want you to explain it to me like you want to pitch it to me, but this isn't the pitch. So, like, how would you say, like, oh, by the way, Rick, we got this great show. I want to tell you about it. So, how are the three of you together? I would love to see how you would do that.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I think I was too. I think I said I was too much about how gorgeous your girlfriend is.
Oh God, I knew we were going back.
And if he hadn't just said that, he would be thinking it for
I
the
mean,
next
she is
90
very
minutes.
pretty, but I think I made too big of a deal about it. Anyway,
Because you didn't mean it, or because what you
No,
think how it makes you look?
Yeah.
I think how it came across.
How does it come across? In the bad way, how does it come across?
That he's like I stalked her on Instagram and I
Oh, Jesus
you know,
Christ Almighty. What else?
just too much.
All right,
too
so
much.
check this out. We'll play a
Yeah.
little game I like to call Savage, Classy, Bougie, Ratchet.
Okay.
Tell me, you'll have 4 chances to tell me
Okay.
how pretty or whatever you want to tell me about
Okay.
my girlfriend.
Yeah.
We're going to start with Savage. Go.
Is that that's the
You don't
most
understand the game, do you?
one? Savage.
You don't know what he's even wanting you to do.
You understand.
I don't have any
It's simple
idea.
enough.
You
know-
would have given a description of her from the point of view of the savage point of
savage.
view.
Yeah,
part of you.
that's
He's going to do like Ben Savage or something, like a voice.
I don't know.
Whatever you
Yeah,
do.
it's great.
All right, so you three, I want
She's
everyone,
gorgeous.
So everyone, I already know, that you all met in the Groundlings.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're comedians.
Yes.
You came up with Melissa McCarthy, and Melissa McCarthy, if you don't know, she's actually going to be on the podcast in a few weeks, so check it out. But she is more famous than you guys.
Yep.
And here's an idea for a show. Oh, why did I do it? You guys were going to do that.
That's all right.
Well, but basically, we all came up together, right? So in our minds, we're all the same, right? We're the same as Melissa, as Kristen, as
We'd been doing
Maya.
the same unpaid entertainment in Hollywood with these people. So
You
we
got to say
felt-
last names, by the way. Kristen
Melissa
Wiig.
McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph. We're the same, right?
Will
Then we
Forte.
realized, no, we're not.
How did you realize that?
They were
We-
all at
we
the
were-
Oscars one year.
Yeah, and we didn't
and we
have
were
a lot of money.
we were writing a kids show, cartoon,
What was the show?
the Looney Tunes show.
You
With
guys
Bu-
wrote the Looney Tunes?
with Bugs and Daffy, and we wrote it. We tried to write a version of the Muppet Show for the Looney Tunes, but they didn't like it, and it was born out of laziness. We brought all our old Groundling sketches and thought we could just give them to Bugs and Daffy, etc. And then they didn't like that. And somewhere in there, they're like, but they can't have guns or anything. So
What does
we
that
ended
have
up
to do with it? Because your Groundling sketches had guns?
no, it was that. Then we didn't know what to do. All we knew was Groundling sketches, right? And then
We
Well, the
lost-
old
we
Looney
lost
Tunes,
Larry.
they
There
had
you go.
the old Looney Tunes. They had guns.
yeah. They heard each other. Everyone knew that.
This is boring. This is boring because we don't know you back then. Let's get to back when we know you.
I've been working on my instincts of not trying to control everything and just let things happen. So I missed it, but I think you're right. I
It's
think that's boring.
It's boring.
I think you're being boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
So could you spice it up?
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is
Flash your tits.
All I'm gonna say is we so then we pitched a show based on what really was the case. We're nobodies compared to our famous friends, and there was a part for you, and because of scheduling, because of block shooting, something that might have only taken 3 days and we barely get to know you, you were there like the whole filming.
Loved it. Always had
And-
something, because I was working like 1 to 2 days a week,
Yep.
but for like
For
a
the
couple
whole time.
months.
So
And you got
we-
paid the whole time, right?
And you want to know another fun little detail
apartment.
about Rick that says a lot about how much we liked you, was we wrote that part for Mikey Day. Because we hadn't met anyone. We wrote everything for people we'd been working
Right.
with. And Mikey was in Groundlings with us. And he seemed like a young, hot shot, kind of the guy that you were playing the part of, the young wonderkind who gets assigned be showrunner to us.
Yeah.
And so then you had to overcome a seed in our
Well,
heads,
couldn't
which
you
was like,
just
this
give
should
it to
be...
whoever you want?
No,
couldn't
we
do
didn't know
it.
that then. But we wrote it certainly with him in mind.
You didn't know which part. You thought you could, but you couldn't, or vice versa?
He couldn't do it. We offered it to him. Sorry to tell you. He couldn't do it.
Then there was somebody else too, right? Your friend.
Who's my friend?
I've never met him. The guy you wrote with that you said, oh, he'd be perfect for this.
Oh,
Was-
maybe it was.
Dave King.
Dave King.
Dave
yeah.
King.
Yeah.
And then I
who
thought.
is, yeah.
So I wrote with Dave, and I thought Dave would be perfect for this.
Dave couldn't do it.
Dave couldn't
we
do
love
it.
Dave.
We love Dave.
We love Dave.
No, I love Dave. But for some, and I even think I reached out to him, and for some reason he couldn't do it. So we auditioned it, and you got it instantly. But I
Somebody
also
like that other one.
Now you're talking too much.
We like that other guy. We lost his email. we tried to offer it to that other guy.
And we fell in love with you, but I think it's because we got to spend more time with you than just 2 days.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I do remember going into the trailer, the makeup trailer on day one, and them and you guys coming through. Backstory: my first real job, I was a series regular on it. So I wasn't the guest. The guests came in. So I don't have much experience being the guest. I'm usually the star.
We know.
So you guys walked in, and I'm the guest, and I remember how kind you were to me. Not in a way that I don't really want to have to deconstruct it, but it felt very genuine. It felt like if I were to be a savage, that you guys didn't know how to be stars, and you were just like, oh hey, here's a friend.
Yes.
And I was comfortable from the beginning, and liked you guys so much, and then, and I don't know how much any of us want to talk about this. Not saying anything bad, but there were. You guys were friendlier than the director.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying anything bad. I happen to think he's a very talented man.
I'm not sure the director, I am sure the director didn't like you.
Do we say his name or do we not say his name? Does it matter?
We're not saying he's anything about him other than he didn't like you, so I think
Yeah.
we can say his name.
Michael McDonald, who I was a fan of, and still think he's very funny. He came in, he was mean to me, man. What are your
Yeah.
feelings on that?
We
agree,
hated
right?
it. Oh, yeah, we
I
hated
think
it.
he's very. I would do the same things during because we would write together. We scripted everything, the three of us, but we would have writing meetings. He would.
Was he show running?
Yes.
Yeah. So he would help with the stories.
He was the
outline
showrunner.
the show. Yeah, but he didn't like when I would come in. We get very interested in the details of each other's lives. And he would want to.
It's like
and
we like
find that
Rick.
very funny.
It's all the stuff.
The little
Minutia.
stuff, like when you were telling us the how to take your shoes off to walk into your apartment,
Right.
And don't step on certain things.
But it's not because he's so weird. It's like Rick is a sensitive person, so it exposes him to the same things we're sensitive about. So we all agree that's
But
important.
I agree,
It's
Larry.
important,
you're
And he
saying-
doesn't think it's important. It's
this
like
is
that's
why-
not important.
This
Yeah.
is why Rick doesn't have 3 people on the podcast.
But there's humor in that, and I think it just that stuff that maybe we found funny about you. I lost my.
He
train
was
of
like,
thought.
just
Oh my God.
get to the thing, and
Yeah.
it's like you would fumfer and you would maybe
What is
trip.
fumfer?
Fumfering.
Maybe not nail your line so perfectly. You might add a little. That's something to make it a little
Punch
more
it
Rick.
up.
No, but add a little Rick-Ness to it.
Sure.
And we loved that, and then for some reason
And you would want to
were-
know things like why am I coming from here?
Yeah, you ask good questions.
And those questions are huge to us. I got in a big argument with him. I could tell there was tension, and it was because I wanted to sit. I thought I would never sit there. I've been working with Rachel and Larry all this time. I know I wouldn't sit there.
Right.
I didn't even know really why, but he wasn't interested in it.
I've learned that there's a fine line. I'm learning. I haven't even learned. It's not intuitive for me. There's a fine line between what you feel is best versus what the character would feel is best versus the compromise of what needs to be done for blocking, for
Exactly.
continuity, etc. And you feel like, oh no, this is funnier, but that's not always the priority.
right.
That being said, I like working in an environment where if I think something is funnier, let me at least ask, hey, this I want, and then if you say, yeah, no, it's not, or yes, but we can't because of this, or if there are obstacles, I would love to try and hurdle them. And if we can't, whatever.
Yes.
But to go into some place where it's like, you can't, and now I'm like, well, why? It also
Right.
has that feeling of being misunderstood, not trusting that I'm allowed to follow my instincts that got me here, not just on this show, but just where I am today.
Right.
So it's tough. It's just a tough thing to navigate, and everybody's different. Some people are more controlling, more collaborative. Some people have a vision that I might not see, and
But
I'm
feeling,
a guest.
feeling inhibited is not a good start to good acting and
Now
connecting.
that also must be hard. I don't think this is personal for you, but that you're on the spectrum,
Right.
right? So that must be also difficult to navigate. Like, oh shit, did I do something wrong?
Yes, but I don't. I mean, actors are insecure, some more than others. But there is this need for validation that you're doing a good job that I'm fortunate to not have. It's not because I'm so confident in myself. It's kind of like a lack of awareness in a way. If I feel like I'm being funny, I nailed it.
Right.
What I do know that I need is if somebody disagrees with what I'm thinking, they need to tell me.
Yeah.
I did not have that on set at first.
Yeah.
What I did have, and it changed a lot for my morale, was you guys came up to me and said, it feels like Michael doesn't like you. And that made me feel so good. Because I'm not crazy, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and I go, oh, so basically I can't be free, but this is what it is.
Yeah.
Accept the reality of the physics of this world. And it made it a lot easier for me. I didn't make as many choices. I probably still made too many, but it was you guys were
I think we could see it happening so clearly because I think we knew Mike was getting frustrated. His big priority was making the day. And
Right.
our big priority, we didn't have a concept of that. So
Right.
I even understand his side of it to a degree.
Same.
Because he felt such profound pressure to do that. We didn't prioritize that.
Yeah.
Like for us, it was like, let's figure out what is funny. Let's do it in one take then, instead of 50 takes of something that doesn't seem funny at all.
And he's not charmed by the Jewish humor.
He doesn't like
you know, like the
Jews.
Jewy stuff. He doesn't like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the neuroses. He
Yeah,
doesn't like.
he's right. I actually learned a lot about directing from the miscommunications I felt with him.
Ah.
And just say, hey, Rick, we don't have time for that. I wasn't trying to do multiple takes.
Right.
I know I would always do it as scripted for the first one, and then we got it. Let me do some silly shit.
Right.
But yeah, I do agree with that. And again, maybe I'm being defensive, but I'm not like, it's just we didn't mesh well. No one is necessarily wrong. But having the creators of the show, to me, I understand showrunner's king, but still, you guys created it. You're literally playing versions of yourself. There's 3 of you, not 1. And for you to be like my little brothers and sisters, or big brother, like brothers and sisters to dad, and be like, hey, Rick, we know. And I was like, oh, thank God I have you guys to complain to about this stuff.
We love you.
But we talked a lot about the process of us meeting, and I don't want to skip over the fact that you guys have created numerous shows. And am I allowed to talk about that you just did something else?
Well, we can well, what about Mike Tyson Mysteries? Because you were on it.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit more of weight
A
first.
boost,
Like,
yeah.
not just,
Yeah.
what have I been on that you have done?
Right.
But just like you guys have been working for a long time.
Yes.
And this idea of Nobodies is funny because people don't know the behind the scenes that well, but you have touched so many things. And you're friends with some awesome people. And I kind of want to hear some backstory about that, because the idea of being Nobodies is funny because it's like, oh, we're the same, and then we realize we're not, and that juxtaposition it writes itself, literally. But also, what does that feel like? What does it feel like to start somewhere and then to have people pass you in what you guys wanted to be? I know, wanted to be an actor.
I think we all did.
We all did.
Oh, I remember. I thought you told me otherwise. I'm remembering wrong. I thought you.
I probably have the most shame about it, wanting to be an actor.
Why?
Just the attention, the naked seeming wanting of attention that acting requires.
So you're ashamed to be associated with,
Look at me, look at me.
but you do have the look at me.
Yeah, of course, I'm a human being. So now I'm getting a little better at allowing that to be. What's so bad about it?
Larry, what is your perspective on that? Because you are a look at me shamelessly.
Yes.
I'm the same.
But you know what I found out? I think I got a little glimpse, because no one knows who I am, but I got a little glimpse of being, it's like a low-level star for
How?
a brief period of time. That we would know everybody on set. We would go out and promote a show. So we'd be on
You're doing press.
and doing press, right? And we got a little bit of people recognizing us, and I realized that I don't think I need that. I don't even think I really want that.
But
I think
you just
I learned.
experienced it from press, not from like the cool things.
But just like no, but like getting recognized a little bit. The little bit
thing
that I
you
did.
thought you always wanted.
Exactly. I think maybe I don't want that. Like, because sometimes someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, I know you. Oh, you're that guy," and then it's like, oh, either I feel vulnerable or I feel like I don't really want to talk to the person. I don't know what to say, and it leaves me not feeling better. I think it leaves me feeling not
You're
as
also
good.
talking about like Instagram likes, like if you post something,
Yeah.
and then you get whatever you get, you end up feeling bad.
Rachel,
Right.
I'm going to go to you in 1 second. I want to connect two things real quick.
Yes.
What I was taking from Larry, what you were saying is the tension. It doesn't necessarily mean from the stranger, but like being able to. What I like the most about it is having this thing that I am, and being able to do it, and people enjoy it. Like getting the attention, even if nobody sees the show, get the attention to have the opportunity to make something.
Are you enjoying doing this podcast even more than acting on a
No.
show?
No.
Okay.
Nothing is more fun. This is such a corny thing, but than creating stuff in whatever aspect. And this does offer me some type of creating stuff, but to not have narrative and to not be able to like, it's not the same. Like to make this feels like I'm doing something, and I love having something to do, and it's creative. I don't feel like I'm trying to, with all the edits and the stuff, I'm trying to make something. It's not the same. And it's not collaborative. I have guests coming in and out, but other than now
right.
Betty, who's beautiful,
Gorgeous.
so hot according
Stunning.
to you.
A 10.
Yeah, like that's what's so fun about you guys. You guys are a team.
Yeah.
But the seeking of attention, it feels like to me you are so far, like it seemed like you don't want it, you need it, and you are so in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally where you're even placed. Where do you fall between the two of them?
I think Hugh's a little too, like, Hugh just deleted his Instagram. Like, that's you don't need to do that. You know what I mean? That's a little like, I'm letting the world know. I'm so, And
Did he let the world know, or are you being judgmental?
I'm being judgmental.
Did you say, I gotta go, guys?
No, Hugh, that's you.
That's Hugh. Hugh got rid of his Instagram.
I got rid of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You sometimes confuse Hugh and Larry.
Yes.
But that could
He
be
does
like
not confuse
dyslexia.
us.
No, I
just
mean,
misheard.
if I did, I didn't realize it. Just then, I misunderstood. But maybe I do, and I don't realize it.
No.
But did you do like a
No,
hey
like-
guys, I have to go?
No, Rachel and Larry wanted to do that, and I said it seems so
I
grotesque.
said, why don't we film you deleting Instagram and put it on my Instagram? And he's
And
like,
I said,
well,
well,
that
what would be the
defeats-
reason? What are we trying?
Attention,
What am I trying to say to
attention,
someone?
attention.
And I think sometimes, yeah, it's like,
What is your relationship with attention?
I like attention. I do like attention, but I also know it's not healthy to focus on it too much.
What does that mean?
Like, I feel gross. Like, I have a love-hate with, like, social media, for example. Does that explain it?
No.
Larry?
Well,
Hold on. No. This is not just social media. Just like I'm unattracted to a lot of it, and there's some of it that I think like you. I'm trying to like. Why am I
Okay.
judging? It's
Here-
like
yeah.
Here's what it is. If I could truly, truly be myself and not worry about saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, and get attention, I think I would love that. But because when attention is placed on you, for the most part, you do need to behave a certain way.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, you have to be politically correct. You always have to make sure you're saying something people are going to agree with, or you're going to get canceled. No, but it's true.
Do you both feel that way? I don't feel that way.
I think that I'm guessing that what you're saying is you want attention, but then you feel inhibited to the extent that you believe they're judging you.
Yes.
But that could be a lot in your head, obviously, because it's in mine. I believe I make up a story about what people perceive things as. And then that's boring to me to have to like figure all that out.
When
now
you sell the Nobodies, when you sell Nobodies, how do you do that? And does any of this fall into place with you explaining to the people you're pitching to how you're not going to offend? Is that part of the process?
No.
Creatively, we like our characters to offend and make mistakes and say the wrong thing. That's what we like our characters that we write for to do. In my personal life, then, if I'm out promoting or doing something, I feel like, oh God, I have to say the right thing. That's why I think we like writing these flawed characters.
Right, because characters are allowed to be human, but humans aren't.
Yes.
Well, you heard it here first. Characters are allowed to be humans, but humans aren't. We'll be right back with a word from our sponsors. Thank you. Support for Take Your Shoes Off is brought to you by Your Zookie, a British brand who is changing the way people in Europe take health supplements. And no, I don't just mean adding mustaches to their boxes. Don't believe me that Your Zookie vitamin C sachets are f***ing top shelf? Could I say f***? Vitamin C Zookie is completely free from artificial ingredients, sugar, gluten, dairy, soy, and alcohol, and are vegan-friendly. Liposomal means they wrap the vitamin C in tiny bubbles called liposomes to make sure our bodies actually absorb it by protecting it through the gut and increasing absorption into the bloodstream. Other vitamin C products just pass straight into the toilet. This high absorbable vitamin C helps support your immune system, reduce tiredness and fatigue, and even help support collagen formation. Head over to yourzuki.com and enjoy 20% off with discount code TYSO. That's TYSO. Get 20% off and free shipping at yourzuki.com. That's YOURZOOKI.com using promo code TYSO. That's TYSO. 20% off and free shipping? Well, me. That's a great deal. I don't know how to end these commercials, babe, and I swore again. And we're back. Could we go back in time even further to where back there and talk?
How many sponsors do you have? And how do you get sponsors?
I mean, aren't these things that could be asked after the show?
Also, why is your podcast not free?
Oh, it's not free.
It's free.
Oh, it is?
It's free for the audience.
Don't I have to subscribe and pay money?
You don't have to pay money.
Oh my God, that's the only reason I haven't been listening to it.
How much did you think it would have cost that you wouldn't have paid for it?
$33,000.
$20 an episode?
No,
Or
like $20 for the podcast.
So for $20 you would have gotten it all, and you would have
Too
watched
much.
it.
Too much.
Jesus. It's free.
God, now, okay, I'll listen to it.
Oh my God.
I'd love to recommend to you my favorite, one of my favorites, but that I think you'll like the most is Dad and Teddy 2.0. I'll send you a link.
That's your dad and uncle.
My dad and my uncle,
Yeah.
my dad and my cousin, and then my dad's brother comes in at the end.
Uh-huh.
We all get very high. Nobody knows what Uncle Bob does for a living. There's 3 high guys now kind of playing with this guy. It's very good.
And you know I love your mom and your mom loves me.
Very, very much. They were
cute.
both my mom and dad were very excited to have you on because you guys were going to maybe come last weekend.
Right.
And they've said a couple times since, like, are they still coming over?
Oh, cute.
I have one more question.
Oh.
Technical question.
Yes.
What?
We're thinking of starting a
So
podcast.
Okay.
exciting.
To me, the microphone in the face is inhibiting
To
to me as a guest.
what is it inhibiting?
It makes me feel like, and I'm listening to it in I guess I need headphones. Well, it feels like
You
I'm
Jewish?
Yeah, it feels like everything I say is so precious, and I have to be so careful. But here's my question.
Yeah.
Is it a question or a comment?
Why
Sounds like
why
a
these and not
monologue.
like a lav mic like you would use if you're acting on a show and in a normal time, no pandemic, we're all hanging out in
I've
your
thought
living
about
room
lav mics, and I understand the reason.
and no headphones.
You don't have to keep giving me examples.
Yeah.
So headphones are optional when we're in the same room,
Uh-huh.
but out here, if you take them off, you won't hear me through the glass.
Right.
Right.
Lavaliers are what those offer is mobility, and if they make you more comfortable, by all means. It doesn't have as good sound, not as rich as this.
Resonant.
Not as rich.
So I want the microphones all to match. So if that were the case, I would want everyone to have a lavalier. And I made a creative decision to not do that. But yeah, talk shows do that. It absolutely could work. There's also something about this as a performer that I like.
You
I
like a prop.
I do. I love
So
a prop.
does Hugh. In all his scenes, he always wanted to have a cup of coffee.
I want to eat in as many things as I can.
Cute.
What do you like about it? Gives you something to do? Makes you more present?
I bet. I think the thing that I can't stand, it sounds like a Holden Caulfield or something, is I can't stand phoniness.
Oh, I thought I knew. I know.
And then I don't want to be perceived as acting phony. And I do feel like if I have a coffee mug, I know what it's like to hold a coffee mug. But I don't like a fake coffee mug with no liquid in it.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Or
you
a
could tell-
fucking
you could
grocery
tell.
bag with the fake weight. It's like, that's so upsetting to me that there'd be someone who doesn't notice that that's terrible. They're so phony.
For out of the three of you, you come off as the most, whatever, who gives a fuck? But what I'm hearing is, and
He very much gives it.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of,
Yeah.
if I were being savage, I would call it manipulation on your part. If I were being classy, I would say a lot of being careful
Yes.
about things that people probably aren't thinking much about.
Right. Paying attention to other people. Imagining their feelings, yeah.
Does that come in with you? Because you're the cartoon character.
Oh, it absolutely does, because then that's why I think I slotted into the straight man part with them. Because I bet in real life, Rachel and Larry are more worried about what I'm going to do. Because I tended to say inflammatory things. I wanted to get in fights with showrunners and corporate bosses or something. I'm the problem. But in the show, that same thing, suddenly it's turned and they are freer to be the problem. And I didn't make any sense, I don't think I explained it, but it's ironic, I guess.
I think us being the problem is more, for television, more likable than you being the problem. Just in terms of an audience.
You
'Cause
feel
then it
you
comes
two are
across
more
as-
likable.
Yeah, it comes across if he's
I
the
mean, is
problem.
that
then
what
it's-
I said?
It comes across as angry and scary.
And ours comes across as they're dumb, and that's easier to digest.
I still am like forcing this, but I feel it contextualizes things better. I still want to hear about you guys meeting back in Groundlings and that origin story. This is not your first marriage to a Groundling.
No.
And I want to
And maybe not my last.
You think if you guys got divorced, your third would be another Groundling?
Yeah.
Main stage or an alumni?
Yeah, maybe alumni.
Open the pool.
Alumni. Let's go alumni.
Yeah,
Have you ever considered Upright Citizens Brigade?
No.
Okay.
just too many choices.
So how old are you guys when you go to Groundlings, and you're all in the same class, right? And tell me who else was that is still working was in your class.
Rachel was a little ahead of me,
Yeah.
and I'm 6 months ahead of Larry. So we were like, she would have been a junior, I was a sophomore, Larry was a
So I
freshman
was
when
like
we
the
met.
Maya Rudolph, Will Forte, Emily Spivey, Rachel Harris. Then they, I think, were Kristen Wiig, Kent
Kristen,
Sublette.
they're behind me.
Oh.
But it's
Oh.
all within it was
It
all
within
within
a
the
little-
same
Yeah.
year or two.
Yeah, 'cause
I
we all
went up
performed
with
together.
Wendy McClendon Covey.
We'll put her Instagram handle up here.
Yeah.
So you guys audition. Let's say we get to the point where you're all around. You guys are all part of this fraternity.
Yep.
And you're doing shows together. You know each other. You're making each other laugh. Like, what is that? What is that college like?
It's very fun.
It's the best.
Yeah.
You guys are. It's not improv. It's sketch.
It's
Right.
both.
So
you're-
both.
It's
but
both.
But you're
Largely
writing a lot.
sketch.
You're
Yeah.
writing a
Largely
lot.
sketch.
Yes.
So what is it? Are you guys meeting in people's apartments? Is
Yeah.
this something like?
Swingers. A lot of writing happened at that restaurant, Swingers.
He undoubtedly thought you meant we were swingers.
I 100%.
Yes, because she said it with such a pause.
No, I 100% knew you meant the restaurant.
Yeah. Is it still around?
And
No.
no,
No.
it just closed.
But what's the goal? You guys are in there. Is the goal to be? Is it SNL? Is it writing? Is it
I think
acting?
for a lot of people, the goal was SNL. I do think the goal is always acting, and then I think a lot of people end up
Yeah.
becoming writers.
Is writers kind of like that? We couldn't accomplish the other thing, so we did that.
I-
For people who are performers.
Or for me, right away, I got some job as a writer, and then it was like, oh, Rachel's a writer. So then people just stop thinking of you as an actor.
But did you
And
yourself
I think I stopped
judge it
thinking- I think
as a
I-
second place, a settling?
Well, no, I was so happy to have a job, but in retrospect, it just made me even identify myself as a writer, and I think that was not great.
There's also something you could, when you're a writer, you can control your day. You can go, I'm going to write today. If you're an actor, there's
Yep.
zero power
But
in
like,
being an actor.
I was working at Jerry's Famous Deli, and then I tested for The Office,
What character?
Dwight.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to Allison Jones who casted that show. We'll be having her on soon.
so then after that, writing, definitely, I was like, this is just paying the bills. But now, I find it gives me such better feeling of power. I can initiate. I can
Right.
take an idea and make it happen as a writer. As an actor, it's just like it was so passive an experience that I prefer it now, writing.
who was the first of your class to go to SNL?
Maya.
And at what point do you guys realize
Or
that
Will Forte and Maya went at the same time?
Maya was first, I believe.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Yeah.
what point do you guys realize I'm not going to make SNL? And who took it the
I
hardest?
never wanted, because I didn't want to have to move to New York, and that just seemed scary.
And she's not lying when she said she would turn down a big, Steven Spielberg, but it shoots in London.
No,
She
thank
says
you.
no.
I had a manager who has a lot of clients on Saturday Night Live, and she asked if I ever wanted to audition for it. And at that time, I thought what I saw was people I knew from Groundlings, like I won't list names, but people I knew from Groundlings who were the funniest people I've ever seen.
Yeah, good thing you don't say their name.
But then I saw them on Saturday Night Live, and I thought they're not. It's making great people look bad.
It's a certain muscle.
It was. I was put off by it, and I told my manager at the time, "No, I don't think I want to do that." And it was a poor choice, but that's. I thought it made.
I don't think anything
good
would have
people-
changed.
But do you have no control over if you get to go, do you? Or
I
did
guess
you? Did she?
She has.
She had control.
Send tape.
Yeah,
and
she'll say she knows
yeah.
people over there. Yeah.
I always felt like they just had to come on a night I was performing at Groundlings, and then that just didn't happen.
Yeah, it's
so I was like,
it's like
fuck
anything.
that.
Like some people, you could get right into the producers. You still have to audition.
Right.
But like you could probably do the one special showcase before going to audition in
Right.
front of Lauren. I have a few friends that basically like it was out of all the people, like half of them ended up getting to go. It was like, oh, this is a big audition, not a kind of a cattle call.
One thing you were saying about Groundlings, like what's so good about it? Like, because you're a stand-up and it's a little bit more, you're kind of by yourself a little bit more. Like being at the Groundlings when we were in it, it's like it's your place. There's nowhere on earth you're more comfortable being, whether it's backstage, whether it's on stage. It's like that is it's
Safe.
And I think
it's
you're
your
right
safe
because it has to
place.
do with it being a specific place. Like if you do
Yeah.
stand-up, he's got to go to 10 different places.
Right.
Yeah, there are certain clubs that's like, I love this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
Hollywood
now,
Improv. I just love it. I'm comfortable there. I've been there so many times.
Yeah.
There is something like about a stage being one of the
Mhm.
characters in the show.
But I think now, because we write together, I think we've managed to keep that part of our lives. Because now when I go back to Groundlings, I don't feel comfortable there because it's not my place anymore. I don't know the people. It's different people. But we have stayed together and we kind of maintained that feeling that we had at Groundlings.
Even on this balcony.
Yeah, which is
That's
great.
beautiful. It's true.
What about Mike Tyson Mysteries, which is my friends John and Allison and I are pitching a show, a cartoon.
Oh.
And we have been we're getting, it's like further along than I've ever been part in the process of something like this. And I am so excited for many reasons. I love the show. Being a voice on it is, it's something I've always wanted to be doing. You guys gave me a big break. Thank you. And but I keep being told that it's more work and less pay. And everyone's like, don't do a cartoon. And people are so like try to turn you, at least people that I've been speaking to, and this feels like the best gig.
The only
It
thing
is.
It is
correct
the
is,
best
that
gig.
it's less
Yeah.
pay. Everything else is better, and therefore the less pay doesn't matter.
But also the less pay, sometimes you could luck into a thing where it's less pay but less stakes. So the show stays on the air longer.
You're saying you don't eat as much red meat because you're keeping
Right.
your
You
voice
can't
a certain
afford
way.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, your friend John, is he your best friend? The one that you guys went to the Laker game, and he's on your Instagram
Yeah.
a lot. Incredibly
Someone
likable.
looks
Yeah,
at
he's
Rick's-
hot.
someone
He's
looks
very
at Rick's
likable.
Instagram a lot.
Yeah,
He is
I'm
very
a
likable.
fan of your Instagram.
Maybe he'll watch this part. Give a little something to John. We'll push in on you. That's your camera.
Is John your friend?
You don't have to repeat what you just
don't
said.
do the same thing.
I'm just saying, say
Oh,
hello to John.
John, hello. I think you're incredibly likable.
Jesus Christ. You really got
It's so weird.
Pulling teeth with this one, huh? I thought he was the one that brings the heat.
Right.
So Mike Tyson Mysteries is when I explain it to people, I say it's adult Scooby-Doo, but with Mike Tyson instead of
Yeah.
the mate. What came up? How did you guys come up with this idea, and why are you the boss instead of all three of you? You're the showrunner.
It's because the guy.
I don't think you should answer.
I'm
Yeah.
not, basically, he was handed the show. He had this we had been working at Warner Brothers. They said we have this. Mike Tyson came to them with the idea. They said, "Hugh, you run it," and he was like, "That
Mike
sounds
Tyson
terrible."
came and said, "I want to do a Scooby-Doo."
Kinda, yeah.
I think his lawyer it was just selling his likeness all over town.
And Hugh said, "That
and Warner
sounds
Brothers
so
Animation
bad.
bit.
No, I don't want to do it." And then they asked him again. He said no. And then they asked him a third time. He said fine. And then, but what it evolved into, the specifics of it, I credit to Hugh. So that's why I think the show's funny. And then we all wrote on it. And I voiced. Oh, this is interesting. So I voiced Mike Tyson's daughter, young He. And the show finally reached its natural end, and we're not going forward. And I think if we were going forward, I'd be replaced.
Why?
Because she's Korean.
Oh, because of the worlds.
The world. I think you'd have to replace yourself. I bet no one would have said anything.
But if I had said it myself, I don't have any followers, so it wouldn't have mattered.
That's really funny to put this big, like, I'm going to stand down.
No one gives a shit.
What's it like working with Mike Tyson? And are you guys still friends? You guys ever chat? Can we get him on the podcast?
I doubt we could get him on the podcast.
He's a podcaster now. I watch it sometimes.
How does he do?
It's good.
I mean, the fact that he got in such good shape recently is amazing.
Yeah, is it true he's fighting again?
Supposedly, I guess.
Yeah, he's his podcast is good. It's something smoke. I don't remember what it is. It's all black and white, and it has like a color bar around it. Like how Hulu
hot
has
boxing.
Yeah.
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 Because it has to do with pot, right?
I think so.
That's his thing. Because he has a cannabis farm or something.
What's it like working with him? Are you scared of him?
I always loved him from afar. And then when we met him, it seemed dicey. It seemed like the show that we were trying to make, because that was early on. I thought the answer was to make it sort of crazy, and I didn't want him to feel made fun of, ever. So we never...
Ooh, I need you to go in more on that. Because I feel...
it's a huge thing. I would find it grotesque if people thought they were smarter than Mike Tyson and they found this way to kind of use him like a prop.
People being the audience, or people being you guys?
I think the people running the show.
You think audience?
I think audience. Also, I would not want someone watching it to think that.
Right, but I feel like I have no control over what the audience thinks. I just know what in my own head I wouldn't want Mike Tyson to feel like, I don't get this. Are you making fun of me? And it's like, so we had to have those discussions to an extent.
But I also think that's why creating the characters surrounding Mike, making them absurd and have big characters, it wasn't like a bunch of straight men and then Mike says something dumb or something like that. It was like everyone was absurd. And so it was like a collective of craziness. Does that make sense?
Was that a conscious decision, or is that just because it's a cartoon?
Conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanted to have big people around him?
It's like figuring out the flavors that you want. And it's like Mike is obviously kind of scary. He's like, he's got a past that everyone knows what that is. He seems a little impulsive and unhinged at times. Like in real life, like he'll say, I'm bored with this. I want to get the fuck out of here. You know?
I think he has a little bit of a Charles Barkley-ness to him too, which is like uncensored, just say things.
Yeah.
And
he's got a great heart,
likable.
but it's like he'll say whatever. So then I think the thing that me, Rachel, and Larry bring in this context is we're interested in what does it now need? And like at the beginning, you know, the execs were sort of like they just were saying out famous people that we could maybe cast. And it's like, well, that's not we need different flavors. We already got that with Mike.
Right.
We need now something soft. We need something feminine. We need something who would be thoughtful as opposed to impulsive. So it's like putting together a
reads
blend.
With the cartoon, or no? They're never together.
That's why we cast so many people we know. I censored myself. From
What were you
saying
going to say?
Fucking, so many fucking people we know. But like that's why from now on you'll always be in something we do, because we'll always go, well, Rick, we know Rick. He'll do this.
That will be.
You guys have given me, out of all the people I know, casting directors, agents, managers, your top 3, I think, have given me the most jobs. So
We always will.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Because you're bringing, but we
And also
that's because
there's
we laugh
something-
at you. We're getting something.
Like when you were on Tyson, it was you had a good part, and the reason you had a good part was because we wrote the part for you, because there was there was something specific about it, and that's kind of what makes it easier for us that we write for people.
I'll put up something on for the YouTube version, but you guys, his name was Glassman. You drew him
Yeah.
of my liking. It was really cool. I usually leave things that I do, auditions, jobs. Fucking crushed it, nailed it. I don't know if I did or didn't, but I did. I always did. I always had that confidence. When I walked out of the reading with you guys, I didn't have it, and even in the car I made some choices. I've heard people talk about like even auditions like, oh, I should have told him this or whatever. I had one of those on the drive home, and I remember being like, oh fuck. So I would love another opportunity sometime. That was my big cartoon break. But it was fun being in there. It was. I don't have much experience just being offered something, and part of it felt like I'm just doing a friend's thing with some friends, and another part of it felt like, oh, I'm being offered a cartoon that's on TV that's funny and it's a paying job. You know, I bought the first season, more than $20 by the way, and I bought it to watch, and it's like, so, but then to walk in and it, in a good way, it was just like, oh, hey guys, yeah let's do this,
Yeah.
and we're just playing, like making shit for free, like this podcast.
Right.
It's such a good working environment to have that, to feel like you're working with friends. So I totally understand that dynamic. What about when you have to audition? What is that? Have you guys done that?
It's the
It's
worst.
the worst.
No, I mean auditioning people.
Oh.
I know we all thought the
That
same
always
thing.
seems like it's going to be fun, and it's not very fun.
No. And I think it's nice to see that I'm not the only one who just isn't as good when you're auditioning. It's better to just give someone a part. Like, everyone was not good in their audition. You were.
I don't look like a fucking idiot.
But for the
Yeah.
most part, people we knew. In fact, our friend Kevin Kirkpatrick, to go back to Nobodies, who played my ex-husband on Nobodies, his auditions were not good. And Mike was a little like, I don't think he can do it, and our casting director, but we knew he could because we'd performed with him for years and years and years, and he performed and he was hilarious.
Did
So
you have to put up a fight, or did you guys have
Very
a decision?
little.
There was a little.
But we had to work with him a lot.
Yeah.
We had to think to ourselves, yeah, that's not going to impress him. How can we help him? And we just
but knowing
he came
it's
to our
gonna be
house
worth it,
and we
it's gonna work. It's gonna
Yeah.
work. It's gonna.
Yeah.
But
And
you're
there
not
was
there for the audition.
we had
For
him come
him,
to
we
our
were
house
like,
and we worked
yeah.
with him on his audition because it eventually did have to go to TV Land. So no matter how much we knew he'd be great, if his audition wasn't good, he wouldn't get the job. And so we made sure his audition was great.
But there was also someone else on the show that I won't mention any names.
You're big with the
But-
provocative.
yeah.
I won't say their name.
But we offered this
That's
person
the bougie character.
we offered this person a part, and the casting director said that's a good move because if you have this person audition, they're not good with an audition. They're great on the set.
And she already knows that.
Yeah, and that's true.
And you don't want to say that because
It's a different.
I don't know who he's
I
talking
know
about.
who
Do you?
he's
It's a
talking about.
different thing. Like I think I'm
It's
better
still a
on a
compliment.
set
You don't wanna say his
than
name?
on an audition.
Zach,
No, you-
character,
it's like-
character named Zach on something else.
No?
No.
It's
no,
a
no.
reputation this person has.
No, but she's auditioned this person and has seen, maybe their skill set in auditioning is not as good as their skill set actually doing the job, which is the more important thing.
Tell me, being on both sides of this, why you think that is. That you see somebody and you know they're good, but they can't audition. What is making them not audition well, but they could do well on set? Rachel, go.
It's just so inorganic. You're staring at a camera. First it's chit chat bullshit. Hi. You're reading with a non-actor. You're reading with a casting director, maybe sometimes an assistant. So you're not getting anything back. It just feels like you've got one shot.
Yeah,
It's just way too much pressure.
So really, the answer is like, some people, they can't help but pay attention to the wrong things. So they come in and they're paying way too much attention to the social aspect or the fear of judgment or the unnatural, because I do that too.
That's why you like to hold a mug.
Yeah, and then on the set, perhaps there are less things to
More of the reality is
you're
there.
already
Yes.
there, and you're
Somehow you
able
feel
to
like you've
play a little
pleased
bit.
somebody, or you wouldn't be there.
'Cause
So
in the
maybe that
audition-
adds to confidence.
Oh, you
In the
think by
audition,
booking
yeah.
it, you have booked confidence.
yes,
Yes.
maybe you have some.
Yes.
But like you said, when you're shooting something, you'll do it once by the script, and then you'll try things, and you'll.
But I feel you could do that during auditions too.
A lot of times in audition, you have one shot.
I literally will say, I want to make sure I have at least 2.
I bet that's irritating for them.
I book 60% of the things I audition for.
You know, let's not argue, Rick.
Let me try that differently. Yeah, well, you have a decent point. Yeah, maybe I should think about that.
Well,
No, I love that you take the risk.
No,
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is,
never booked
I
anything.
need this to do this well. I need this. That's actually why you're in there, is for you to do it well.
Yeah,
So
it's-
if you need something like a coffee mug or 2 shots at it, why should anyone care?
It's also, it's not like a give me 2 shots or I'm out of here. It's, when it's the normal chit chat, that 4 minutes that we'll spend asking how your dick's feeling or whatever the fuck it
Right.
is. Instead, you just be like, guys, I don't want to waste time. I know that I have some fun choices we may not use. All I ask is give me at least two goes.
love it.
And if they, I don't know.
And
I
they
guess
say
I'm being
2
defensive
goes.
with you now.
Right, but I take back what I said.
And we're back.
I'm
Now you're
very
being classy.
sweaty. I am being classy.
Are you sweaty because of the conversation or because it's
No,
hot out?
but I'm a sweater. I think
Oh God, look at this.
Oh my God!
if you
You're
could see
sweating
my
so
stomach-
much.
My stomach's sweaty too. Larry and I schwitz.
It's not that hot out here.
I need to tell you guys something. I either just became aware of it or it just happened.
sweating?
The combination of this that's happening, the coffee, and a pain pill right now, I could cry. I'm having the best time.
So am
Oh, we're in the
I.
pocket. We're in the pocket.
I feel, I don't know if we are, but I hope. And I don't know how you guys have been feeling. Things have been going. I hope that you're having a good time, and I don't want this to end.
Same. These are the moments that I do believe could go on forever. Even though I did say to you, how long is this going to take?
Does that mean we're done? Is that what you're
Not
saying?
I want to do this. I love you guys so
Oh,
much.
that's so sweet.
And I'm having such a good time, and I'm so sad Betty's not here. Betty, you've seen
Yeah,
her, right?
Betty
I
and
don't-
John. Betty and John.
Gorgeous,
I want to see Betty and
gorgeous,
John. They
gorgeous.
should get together.
Let me hear you say that as somebody you've done Savage, Classy, Bougie. Now I have to hear Ratchet.
Ratchet? I don't even know what ratchet means. It was a gift. The shirt was a gift.
Yeah, you couldn't be more dad right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want everybody to meet.
Because you told us you had just fallen in love right before the pandemic, basically. Because my last text
Oh,
from you
that's
is,
right.
let's all go to dinner.
Yeah, it's because I knew the pandemic was coming, and I figured if I'm not in love, we can't do this.
Yeah.
And if we can't do this, it's not like I could be with other people. I'm stuck in the house. So I forced myself to fall in love. So this is advice to anybody who's like not sure about what they should be doing. All you have to do is make the decision that you're in love, and then all of a sudden, oh, I want to talk to this person all the time.
You know it
Now,
was
is
my...
she in your pod? Is it like she comes over?
She lives in London.
Oh.
I mean, you'd know that if you looked at his Instagram.
So how does that work?
It's tough.
Does she fly here? Do you fly there?
She hasn't been allowed in the country since March.
Wow.
It sucks. We talk all the time. She helps produce the podcast now, and she's a creative director. She has a great eye. She listens to podcasts and knows comedy. So coincidentally, when we met, she already knows more about podcasts than me. She creates brands, and so she's kind of like helped me take this thing and turn it into this. And I have people, because I complain a lot on the podcast about cameras and work and blah blah blah. So I have a lot of people messaging. It's very nice, wanting to help and what they could do to offer. And it's been a bit overwhelming because I'm not going to have some strangers come into my place. And
Right.
no, thank you, but no. Betty has gone through all these emails, or most of them, if not all of them. I think I'm protecting her in case people are like, why didn't she read mine? And then like follows up with the ones that feel like, oh, okay, asks for reels, gives them stuff to test, and narrows it down, and has found me people to animate and to help edit. And she's, by the way, the ads, she's the one who gets me ads. And it's just like, oh, I have this little producer now.
That's
and
great.
I've been treading water on the show. So it's cool because we talk all the time, but it's not just, hi, I'm rewatching Game of Thrones. I mean, like we have this working relationship.
Well, to go back to Larry's question that he asked you early on, where he clearly wanted to know how we could get our own podcast.
Yeah, how do we
on
get
your
ads?
podcast? But I guess we need Betty. We need a
Yeah.
Betty.
Well-
We don't have a Betty.
Well, I'll tell you something, Rachel. I feel like I'm not letting you speak as much. I don't know if it's because of the divider or because of this
I'm a
patriarchal
woman,
society.
yes.
Yeah.
But
So I'm going to finish.
Yep.
So what I was trying... No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I will say I am so thrilled that you are in love because right when I met you, I became obsessed with the idea of setting you up with someone. Do you remember?
He does seem like the person.
I
you
don't
wanted.
remember who, but I do remember
I
those...
didn't have someone. I
remember you sent me a couple people, and I was... if I were being savage,
Yeah.
I was... no, if I were being ratchet, I would say I was too shallow to be interested in these people.
Yeah, that's okay.
If I were being savage, I would say these people are not hot enough.
Yeah, they're not on my level.
Now, how did you meet this Betty?
Hold on, let the
Okay,
woman
go
speak.
ahead. Sorry.
my
Let the woman
God.
nag. Go ahead.
So it made me so happy because
Show me
I
your
thought you were
tits.
such a catch. And now you're in love, and I'm happy.
Thank you.
Go on,
Oh
Larry.
my God, that Mount Larry just
Why did you just get offended? What just happened? Was it me or him? I hope it was him
Larry's
more.
laughing so hard.
Because of the show.
It's very funny. That
'Cause
was
what
very
happened?
funny. You
He
what
loves
said.
you.
Oh, I love getting a laugh from you
Yeah.
guys
Loves
when I know
you.
it's for me.
Yeah.
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 All right, what were you
Now,
going to
how
say?
did you meet?
Who cares?
She's
man?
in London.
Yeah, ask me that on your podcast.
Thank you.
Oh, I think I remember you went to London. You met her in London. Okay. All right.
We'll cut to a clip.
Yeah.
Buongiorno, Glassman Poppers. It's your boy Rick, and have I got news for you. I'm headed down to the concierge office, which is French for the lobby, to get tickets to the Vatican to see where all the little boys and girls get their pussies and dicks played with. I can't post this. That'll do. That'll do, pig.
And we're back.
So you guys want to start a podcast? I don't know if I'm teasing it now. It's not the intention, but I guess might as well. I am starting another podcast. I think. Well, I know I am. We're going to see if we do it all the time. We're going to do a 6-episode series and see how it goes. And I'm only able to do it because of Betty's help. We're producing it together, and we kind of have this. I don't know if it's a fantasy. I don't think it's really a fantasy, but this goal of having a little network of a few, like not do podcasts, but maybe have 3. Betty wants to produce one with my parents, and she would just send them the topics and do all the stuff and blah 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 blah. So I have a few. So
That's great.
off because it's boring, and it's also I feel like it's secret sauce and like IP almost process of it as far as I'm like the way I do it. I'd be happy to talk with you guys about either doing it on your own or trying something where I could help.
Woo.
that option.
That's fun.
But we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Off
We'll
camera.
talk about it later. Yeah, a lot of logistics.
Yeah.
But what would your podcast be?
Well, this is probably the big inhibition to doing the podcast.
Because you don't know.
No.
Right.
And
Perfect.
we're busy. We write, and it's like, Jesus, are we now
just,
gonna
you know what? We love
ourselves?
to kibitz.
Yeah.
We love to catch up with each other, and maybe someone wants to hear that.
Do you know what the baby tomato said to the mama tomato? Or the mama tomato said to the baby tomato?
Let's catch up.
No, we love listening to podcasts with people kibitz. Is there anything wild or, I'm pimping you out for that. No need. But what's shocking? Anything savage or ratchet you guys could talk about? Even bougie, third. We'll make it up, but when I put on social, we won't
Yeah.
say it's made up. So let's, what we haven't done in a little bit? The 4 of us, but you 3 together.
Well, no.
Oh, you have something?
You had something?
But no, it's nothing. It just it reminded me of that time I called Rachel's. What, did I call him? No, maybe
Her ex-husband?
The phone rang and it said David, and I thought it was Rachel's dad, and it was. It turns out Mike Tyson's valet, his man, his sort of like his guy, and this man is a Muslim.
Which is
That's only germane
Oh,
because
damn.
at the time I was reading this book called The Big Fat Surprise. A big chunk of that book was about how red meat was demonized by the FDA for reasons that aren't science-based or whatever. So the phone rings, and it's Mike Tyson's Muslim guy, and I just launch into thinking it's Rachel's dad. I'm like, you got to start eating more steaks. And the amount of times I told this man who's a Muslim he should eat red meat was crazy. And then it was like 2 minutes in, he said, Hugh, do you know who I am? And I said, you're not Rachel's dad? It wasn't Rachel's dad. It was Mike Tyson.
You put that on your social.
It's a good story. It involves Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
It hasn't really, though. Just his
The whole
guy.
time I was trying to remember what the whole can't make
story
enough
was.
money for steak was to try and
I know, I was too, because I love a callback.
Yeah.
love a callback. One of my best friends is a callback.
Did we
Don't
do
believe
anything?
me?
But add a little Rick-Ness to it.
I'll just leave that like that.
Oh my
a little
God.
behind the scenes. So we will just. I would love to see how well you guys work together. So I'm going to give you a little suggestion, and I want you to tell me the story of how this actually happened, which is true. I know this is a true story, and if you're uncomfortable, you can always edit it out. But Rachel was married to another groundling.
Right.
And what a lot of people don't know is during that time, you and, was it Larry or Hugh? Larry, you gave Larry a blowjob.
Right.
And Larry was soft the whole time.
Right.
But he still ejaculated.
Right.
But he didn't warn you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was embarrassed. So when you guys, anyway, we'll edit that. We'll edit that. We'll edit that up. We'll raise the volume
But
on
I
it.
was just yes-anding you.
You were
know?
yesing it.
Yes.
Improvis-
I was yesing it.
Improvisated. Let me just watch.
You're right. I wasn't anding at all. I was just like, go on.
Yeah. So, but tell me the true story. You guys working together before you became an item, and is that weird because you're still friends with your ex?
Still friends, and you know my ex-husband Christian Duguay, very funny stand-up, and
he was
he's
also on
married
Nobodies.
to. Yep, he was on Nobodies, and he's married to Emily Maya Mills, who you know, another stand-up.
Who I just saw, who texted you
She texted me right now.
about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, that's another thing. Larry reads my texts. No boundaries. He will literally read. If he'll read my emails, he will read my texts. Does
Mine too.
That seems strange, right? Is that odd? I mean, I have nothing to hide.
I mean, it's
but-
weird that you let him see it.
Yeah, I have nothing to hide.
Wow.
It's just so overt the way
Does he pick up
it.
your phone, or is he just?
Yes,
he sees
he'll
it
He
pick
does
it up.
He'll pick up
Sometimes.
my phone.
Why do you do that?
Curiosity.
Would
you do that if Rachel told you she didn't like it?
No. But then I'd be
Then
like,
you do
why?
it se- you
Why?
do it
What's the
secretly.
problem?
Yeah, you do it
You
secretly.
would do it.
No, I
secretly.
wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would just wonder what's the big deal. Why? What don't you want me to see?
So is there no story about this stuff? Because this is the third time I've asked, or are we just getting
But
off
I'm
track?
not understanding your question.
There's something a bit.
Is this improv? You want us to do improv?
No. About you being married to
married
one person
before.
while
Oh.
performing with somebody else, and then just saying it's almost you picked a new scene partner.
Well, so Christian and I were married before we were Groundlings. Like we were still like in, I believe like Sunday Company, maybe, I don't know. And then we, Christian was my first boyfriend. So I got married.
How old were you when you started dating him?
22.
You have the confidence of a woman whose first boyfriend was at 13.
Oh, I didn't kiss anyone till I was in college.
Oh, you found a nice little pocket.
Thank you.
It doesn't show.
Thank you. Well, I think I got married a little too young, and I think Christian and I both would agree right now. We are with the people we're supposed to be with. We had kids very early, twins who are now 15.
Both of them?
But yes. And then the marriage just was falling apart, and we went our separate ways. And so and it's funny, Christian and I did try and write together. I wonder if he writes with Emily. I don't know. You should have Christian and Emily on. They're delightful.
We'll see how this one goes.
Okay. But I think it also goes to, I love people who are groundlings. I mean, I do.
Just because they're part of your fraternity?
Part of my fraternity. I think we all speak the same language. There's something, and it doesn't matter where even if on paper no one has anything in common, they really are like family. There's something that's just great.
Do you think that going to Groundlings forms this type of person, or it's a certain type of person that goes to Groundlings that you connect with?
I bet that.
I think that.
The second?
I think, because I think it's like, don't you think that like,
Didn't even hear what they were. Was it the second one or the first one?
but don't you think it's the people that go and do stand-up that have a little more like independence, and then the Groundlings people who maybe want a community more than they want
I bet we're a
to
little,
get their
we're
thing
a little
out.
needier, a little more codependent.
So then you're codependent, probably a little more like
And I'm a codependent person.
wanting to have those relationships.
Are you codependent?
Yeah, and I do think like when I was at Groundlings, I would write a lot by myself, and I had my most success. I sort of thought I figured out how to whatever my voice is or something at Groundlings, and I also thought when I would perform those sketches by myself, it was not fun. I would come off stage. There was no one to like
Yeah, it's
high
like playing
five
basketball
with.
alone.
Yes, and it's like become very clear to me, like when you do something by yourself, like the stuff we work on now, it's thank God we have each other. It's just so much more fun. Every day is fun somewhere, even though the work could be hard and we don't crack it, we don't figure it out. But then we have each other. So like we're sharing the frustration and fear of success or whatever, failure.
Yeah. I've talked about this on another
so
podcast,
nice.
but I love going to Vegas and playing blackjack with a group of people, and we're all sitting at the table. We're all at the table, but instead of us all playing our own hands, we pool the money, and we're all the stakes, the
Oh,
wins,
that
and
must
the
be
losses.
so fun.
It's so fun.
That's great.
Yeah, I love doing it because we all.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
always want
us.
everybody to get blackjack, but when it's you two, there's something you're sharing in sex and
camaraderie,
defeat.
yeah.
Yeah.
You two work together. You two are married. John, my friends John and Allison, you're a huge fan. I know of John. You got to meet Allison. She's fantastic. They work so well together for a lot of reasons, which I don't need to get into at all. But through your experience, that's not a common thing. Husband and wife, or husband and husband, or wife and wife, or life partners. Whether you're transgender, cisgender, black, white, as long as it's one of the four.
The big four.
The big four. It does. You want to have people. Just you want to have your own things. An organic way of doing that is at least we work separately.
Right.
Why do you guys work so well together? And where does he fit in?
Larry is the key. We are
Yeah.
codependent, so I'm not someone who loves time away from whether it's my kids, my husband, my house.
Right.
I don't like to go places, but the key is Larry, because I do think even the few times Larry took paternity leave, which is, questionable in and of itself.
Paternity leave?
Yeah, a little bit.
Go. What does that mean? Does a father need to be there with his baby to help the wife? And
I think Larry took a little more time than he needed.
is it
I
like
took
taking
a
unemployment
week.
when you're on hiatus?
I will say the part
What'd
about
you say?
I think I took a week.
No, you took about 2 weeks.
the part about the relationship though is also
She was about to say something nice about you, and this, but he took too long in paternal leave.
Yeah.
But the thing that Larry, me, Rachel, and Larry are also, we bring all something different comedically. We are not. Me and Rachel aren't exactly the same. Me and Larry aren't exactly the same. So there's something.
There's no overlap.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's overlap, but there's no. Yeah, it's true. But I do think we would fight. We would not be successful without Larry.
Right.
That's a compliment. Say
Thank you, thank you.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
I mean,
Well, he's
Very
listening.
likable.
Opening up
He's
the
trying
Very
to.
likable.
He's trying to listen for where it's not a compliment.
Where is it? Two-part question. Creative second. First is, other than the ideas he brings, just the social dynamic. How is it that he makes things easier for you guys?
I think it's light. There's like an energy when Larry's around.
I feel that.
He brings out an energy and a fun and a silliness.
It's also probably you guys are always
You're
together.
welcome.
Thank you, John. You're incredibly likable. I bet.
You sat in that too long. I didn't need to
Sorry.
tell you that to make
Right?
me,
I
make
was
me
about
look too bad.
to say the
Sorry.
timing was
But
not
I thought you
good.
can cut it whenever you want to cut. I give you
I'm not
options.
gonna cut for your comedic timing.
No.
It's almost
That's
like
on you.
almost held for laughter as if you've told that before and it kills.
Yeah.
And you were. Where's the?
Why isn't it killing?
Yeah.
It must be a technical problem.
Could you tell when somebody else does it? Let me show you what you just did. For example, and by the way, John, you are very likable.
But I thought you needed a header and a footer to
Rick
to
knows
cut.
what he
That's
needs.
why I was
You don't know what Rick needs.
right.
Trust Rick.
Right. You're right.
I'll
That's
tell you
why
what
I
I
don't
need.
have a podcast.
I'll tell you what I need. I need. Do you see how that
Yes!
felt weird? You see how that just like wait, we're not the pause. It didn't
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
Larry didn't even know what you were
Yeah,
doing.
no,
so,
I didn't.
So now I know what they offer you. They tighten you up. They take your stuff. They pick some of it. You're the color. They have the lines, and you go, what if we make this turquoise? And they go, that's actually a really good idea. Just put it just in the nose, though.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. You're
But
a
I-
bunch of paint.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just a fucking mess.
Okay.
You need
Okay.
somebody with a brush.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But without him,
Okay.
you guys are just boring black and white.
Right.
It's true.
Without color.
Yeah.
Yeah,
together
he's
you guys
the,
are a cartoon.
He's
the
like
color.
a Jackson Pollock, right?
Yeah.
And we're maybe a
Andrew Wyeth.
yeah. And then together,
Wait,
we're
first of all, this assumes like
Jackson
Jackson Pollock is
I was
bad.
trying to sound smart, like, oh, that one knows art. You know what I mean?
That one.
Yeah.
The girl in the middle knows art.
That one.
What about you? What do you think they offer you? What would you do on your own? Would you be able to get stuff done, or are you two all over the
I
place?
had one thing, a pilot that I sold by myself, and it was terrible. Every second of it, I hated. Just writing by myself. I don't understand how people do it or why they want to do it.
It's lonely.
It's lonely. It's. I mean, even just from hard to get motivated to do it.
Right.
Just not bouncing ideas off each other, and also just like the checking in, just the bullshit talk leads to stuff. There's value in that.
There's something nice about when you're writing with somebody, for them to laugh with you, for you to know where to lean into, and for them to challenge it, for you either to realize, oh, it's a good thing we nipped it in the bud, or to dive in so it's more understandable to so you understand better why you think something's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, so many times either we say to Larry, "That's so funny," and then that thing, it is right there in the show, or Larry will say, I don't know, and he'll be like, "No, that was funny when you said that," and then it's like, "Oh, that's
Right.
You're saying it's literally the line of dialogue, and I might have missed it, even though I said it." You know what I mean?
When you do a live performance, you have an audience telling you if they like it or they don't like it. When you're writing something, there's so many steps before it getting made.
Right.
There's so many ways for it to get ruined along the way. I mean, too many cooks. Are there any disadvantages working together where it's like it's slowing the process down?
No, it speeds it up. It's we work very fast together.
Certainly at this point, there are no disadvantages that we experience. Only advantages.
Except someone would say,
I bet when we
you have to
started,
split
it was
the
harder.
pay three
Right,
ways,
right,
and
right.
it's like so worth it.
Yeah.
Right. Do you guys if Rachel, if everything that you guys have created, if it was always you who created it, and you bring them on as writers, producers, actors, whatever, but it's you, would your rate be higher or the same as it is with the three of you? So basically what I'm asking is,
Right.
are you now getting a third of what you would have got, or because there's three and you've done it enough, it's been negotiated at a point where I know they're one unit, but it's three of them, we give them more?
No, at the end of the day, for our own healthy relationship, one of us never makes more than the other.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm saying
Right,
that
we
Well,
haven't
you know
got-
what? Say it better, because it was confusing.
Absolutely.
It's because he's saying, have we gotten to a point, and we haven't gotten there yet. I bet
You
we
understand
might
what
be
I'm saying?
close. Yeah.
Oh,
We're
we're
being-
The man understands what I'm saying, right?
Right
The
now,
man who understands numbers?
we're
Right.
still at a financial disadvantage from our lawyer's perspective.
I get it.
But we clearly can tell the difference psychologically, how much better it is, how much easier, how much more fun.
Are you also now able to do more projects because you have more hands and more minds?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't understand how people do that J.J. Abrams world where their name is on 50. I don't understand that.
Well, the little that I know, there's, you have more involvement in some things than others. Some are
Right.
producing its name, some you're producing it's your company. You have, shout out to Brian Burke, by the way. He's one of JJ's. I want him to come on the podcast. He's one of his producers. He's worked with him on a lot of stuff. I met him at a game night. He's so interesting. He refuses to come on a podcast because he says he's not good at talking in front of people. He's so interesting, but he does so many things that I'm sure JJ would be doing if he was doing one thing.
One of our problems, and it actually is a problem, is we're a little controlling of what we put out there. So coming up with an idea and then giving it off to a writer's room would be very hard for us because we're very controlling. So I think it's going to keep us from getting really successful. I think to get really successful, you have to be able to
Franchise.
delegate.
We have to scale up.
And I'm not good at it.
I want to ask you about that. First, I want to tell you how I connect to it. This podcast, as small as it is, because by design of what the product actually is, it's very consuming. It's 30 hours a week. Wow. It's a lot of things that I'm obsessing over, and I have found some help. Perry, who helps me edit it. Actually, you know what?
Hey everyone, my name is Perry. I'm an editor on Take Your Shoes Off. Rick's given me 15 seconds to plug my own YouTube channel. On it, I do a lot of things with my younger brother. Well,
Hey,
we'll go.
you keep taking my shirts.
Okay, my bad. Taking my shirts, my pants. On it, I do a lot of things.
We're back.
You saying you think you'll be more successful or would be more successful, where does the logical and emotional side, where does the logical side take over and let you give it away so you could make more money and be happier because a camera switch is different?
I'm not sure. I'm actually afraid I won't be happier if we get too much more successful. And
why? Successful meaning more money?
More money and more jobs, just because I stress, I worry.
What are you stressing about? The control?
Balancing work and home, having 2 kids. I don't want to be so busy that it's like, I can't take them to the orthodontist and check their homework and make dinner every night.
But selling a show and then not running it or not being in the room day to day, you don't want to do, and that would give you more time.
No, that's where I'm heading. I think the 3 of us are heading there. I think we're learning to do what you're doing. We're striving to.
Well, I think also we need a hit. We need something where it's like from the people that brought you this,
the truth.
And then I think you can do that other stuff. But I think until you have that, it's like you're still proving yourself.
I think a downside also to animation is, oddly, you have massive amounts of control over animation. You can just say, no, we need a different. You can look at the animatic and say, no, we need a shot of this. And I guess the production element in live action, it's like, no, we don't have that. So just make do.
Yeah, there's something about like television where you have to get this podcast. I have to get it out by Monday.
Yes.
I don't have. You have to sacrifice stuff.
And I think animation sometimes can inculcate in us a sort of like
inculcate.
He's the smart one.
Like
he's the dumb one.
Pushing on his hand, we'll see inculcate and James Whittier or whatever. I don't remember who your auditor was that you mentioned.
So then like these live action things, because it was funny. We were talking about a live action comedy, and then I was thinking, I don't think I laugh that much at live action comedies anymore.
Really?
Yeah, like I would at stand up. Stand up could still make me laugh very hard. You can make me laugh. You appearing on multicam, you have no hope of making me laugh.
But
none.
Weren't you on a multicam?
I was.
Ouch.
And actually, it's where I met.
But it's just
my goblin.
It's just a taste thing.
Whoa,
that's a big goblin. Is he little?
Toledo.
Where's the goblin?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
That is a cutie.
Yeah. Watch what he could. Watch what he could do.
Can he inculcate?
Could he inculcate?
Oh, gross! Diarrhea.
You know what? Reacting to that. You know what that reminded me of?
So much diarrhea.
It reminded me we were promoting Nobodies, and they took us to Facebook headquarters. And they put us in a room that clearly someone thought is a fun room. You take the cast of this or that show, there's a disco ball, and there's a thing, a boa you could put around your neck. And the assumption was you could put anyone in this room and it makes them fun. And that assumption was incorrect.
And then they wanted to make a, what's that thing called? Where it's
boomerang.
Like a boomerang. And I will send it to you if you want to show the boomerang we did.
Ew! Oh no!
And it's terrible. We all look very uncomfortable, and it made you so angry.
I can't. There's no way for me to be. That's not who I am at all. And I can't. And then I'm doing the worst thing. I'm ruining it for Rachel and Larry.
Why can't you be who you are in the fun room?
I can't do it. I can't do a dance and like
But
stir
why
the
do you
boa.
have to do a dance?
I think I felt like I had to because the person kept going, Hugh, big smile.
But can't you just say, I'm sure I'm gonna smile during this. I love that we're here, fun ball. I can't just that would be like me saying to you, the camera guy or whoever it is, hey, make me laugh, and I'll smile.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you could come in and color it up. Is there a world where you could do something like that, or is that like you feel like you have to?
I think you're getting there.
Maybe I'm getting there.
I'm not advising. I don't know. I
think it's healthy.
I go into a room and say I want 2 takes, and you say that makes me unlikable. So there's a dance to it.
I worry. Yeah. I mean, I find you so likable, but I do think there are Mike McDonalds out there that don't. Do you know
But
what
I
I'm
guess
saying?
Lift your head up a little bit. Open your mouth.
Is diarrhea going to go in there from your goblin?
I mean, that's how you sell this show.
Rachel. Wipe it off.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, now you got it on his shoulder.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. $2,800.
I
You can't see anything but your nose.
I want Hugh to totally be himself like that too, but yeah, not everyone will love it.
But I think for Rick, when he says I want the 2 takes, the people that are going to be put off by that
Or not
Weren't
okay.
gonna like take
weren't
one
going to
anyway.
like take one.
There
Right.
you go. And that's why I took
That's a great
took
point.
It back.
And also, how crazy is it now we know? Who cares what that person in the room, what they like?
Right.
Well, how so?
Because they're not the ones making
We
any
didn't
decision.
necessarily take advice
Well,
from some.
but
we
I
just,
will say, I
But they
found
choose
out,
what to send you.
Yes,
That's
I
right.
didn't find that out. I thought
Yeah.
everyone who auditioned, we would get their audition. It gets
And so many
full-
times they're being
Oh.
the actors are being directed wrong.
yeah, we heard a lot of that.
That's a
we
tough,
heard so much
There's
of
a
that.
tough one with certain casting, not certain, I mean, no one in particular, but just certain auditions where you want to listen to the casting director, one, because you want to show that you can take direction.
Right.
Yeah.
You want them to like you.
Right.
And because they know more than you. They've talked to the producers or the director. They know what they're looking for. But there are some times where I think, no.
Right.
Which I guess the best way to compare that would be when you get a note as a writer from a studio and you have to satisfy their note while still doing it in your way.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's just you're wrong, and it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to have an argument, but it's true. It's truly an argument. You have your point. You know you can't do it.
But
what they want.
but they control what this person sees. It's like
yeah.
it's
a
like
terrible
asking
process.
somebody
It's a
permission before you
flaw-
talk to the boss.
Yeah, the system it's a flawed system.
But then you had some casting directors, and I want to give another shout out to Allison Jones, who I'm in love with.
Yeah.
And Allison, speaking of how many jobs you've gotten me, Allison has gotten me. I mean, is she my agent? I mean, the amount of
Right.
auditions that she's gotten me, and they're always cool. Like,
Yeah.
they're straight to Larry
She
David,
works
and
on
straight
cool-
to Judd
Ah.
Apatow, and straight to Julie Louis-Dreyfus. Like, I've been in rooms with these amazing people,
Fabulous.
and she does something that some casting directors do, but nobody like her. You're not, and this is not just because I know her now. This is from the first audition. You're not auditioning for Allison Jones. You're auditioning for the production. So when you go in, you do as many takes as you need. She tells you. I've done stuff where the first take, that was it, and I remember I booked that thing, and I felt like, I don't know, she just has the right instinct.
Right.
But then there are times when I did Futile and Stupid Gesture, which is a Netflix film with Will Forte. It's where I met Will.
Yep.
And who was just on the podcast, by the way, so check that episode out.
I thought it would cost money, but I will watch it now.
I auditioned 3 or 4 times. I did 3 or 4 takes and then left, and then she emailed me and said, we didn't get it.
That's so nice.
I came back. She wanted a certain voice. She was instructed that they need a certain voice. So I met with a few vocal coaches. It took a few, not just because I have a hard time doing
Yeah.
that stuff. That's not a skill set of mine. So we went in, we did it. She goes, this is it.
Wow.
So it felt like her and I are trying to get the right take. I'm
are.
not trying.
I feel like Larry right now, but I'm wanting to know what was the voice. What
You were
Harold
Harold
Ramis.
Ramis,
crazy.
right?
It's Harold
Right.
Ramis. So I don't remember exactly
Can you
what it
do a
was.
little, or?
I did exercises that really helped and stuff where tongue placement. I don't remember exactly, but it was very subtle. It was.
So you still
it
felt
was more. It was a little lower and more Chicago, and I had to practice certain things. I can't tap
that's
into
great.
That's fabulous.
it. It would be. I don't remember.
Yeah, and
but it
it-
was slower, and it was a few different things with my tongue.
That's great. I love that.
But it could have easily been, he doesn't have the voice.
Right.
Or it could have been a million things. But usually he doesn't look like the part, and I happen to look like this Jewish writer, which is it's why I booked your thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but just also that confidence of going into a room where, when you tested for The Office, there's a certain type of pressure. You already agreed to a rate. It's down to you and maybe 2 other people. You're dreaming about it now. You don't want that pressure at the first level. You want to build up to it and warm up to it. And to go in, so there's something with a casting director that it's not just the eye, but it's knowing what they want, being able to get it out of the performer. They're directors.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't remember what got me off on
Well,
that.
because she's so you have noticed that she's great at it,
She's so good at it.
and and some have seemingly no clue.
She's also she did Golden Girls, Fresh Prince, The Office, Curb Your Enthusiasm, 40-Year-Old Virgin,
Arrested Development. She gave me a part on Arrested Development when I would never get anything, and Allison just basically gave me a part. I mean, she must have called me in.
Who's the casting director that casts Barry? Do you know her?
Maybe. I don't know who that is by name.
I don't know
Is
her
this
by
going to
name.
screw up continuity if I switch my cup?
Only if we put this part in at the beginning.
I can't remember her name, but I find her, everything you're saying about Allison, I find about this woman. So I should know her name. I didn't book it, but...
Janine McCarthy.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, that's who it is. I feel like a great cold open would be you asking...
It's great to be here, by the way.
Putting that at the very beginning. Give me the thing. Yeah, Janine McCarthy. Janine McCarthy and Allison Jones cover so much comedy and casting in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I don't know if this comes across as flattery because it's on this thing. I've told you, I love you guys so much.
We love you.
Like, I want to be... I mean, I know we're friends, but you are people that I'll drive to some place to get the lunch. So there's also the having you on the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just... I don't know what else to fucking ask you guys other than just, like, I always want to play.
Yeah.
Let's
Did we
do
go
it.
through your questions? You have questions on the floor.
So Betty has started giving me questions. They're not even questions, it's just things.
Yeah.
They're more for people that I've had people on that I've never met. So they're more for that. I didn't even, because I printed this out as you guys were coming in, so I didn't even look over them. So during it, I'm trying to look over, but I guess we could go through them.
No, but I mean, like, what about now you treat this like we're all having lunch?
So here's how I'm going to, tell me if you could connect to this. This is my second take that I was asking for.
Love it.
This is all I want.
Love it.
You might have heard this as now just have fun with it.
Yes.
One of those. That's what I look for. I go into a room.
Now you're going to play.
I want to dive into that even deeper, the reason I want two takes. When you go into an audition with a casting director you know and or for a producer, writer, director that you know, it's different. But a lot of times it's not that. Some people, you cannot change a comma, let alone improvise.
Right.
Some people love you doing it on your own. You can't go in there blindly and then just change some of the words. Some writers might feel insulted. But I also want to show what makes me shine.
Right.
So I say I'm going to be classy. I'm going to come in classy. Reverse those first two on your shirt. I'm coming in classy, but I need a savage.
I totally
Need a
get it now.
savage.
I really get it.
I think that's even maybe a smart. I wonder if there's a benefit psychologically to you that you've already given yourself
Yes.
some weird permission on the second one.
Yes.
That might end up feeling like if I mess up, who cares? I said it's
not-
sillier. It's
also,
looser.
it's also knowing that I am what everybody is. I'm in control.
Yeah.
People may not know their own boundaries, and if so, they get nervous communicating them. Take your shoes off. I've said this before on a podcast, so but it's an easy thing for people to digest because I have so many rules that people know. Take your shoes off. Oh, it's one of those households. There are other people that want shoes off, but they don't want to be difficult. It's not difficult if the expectations are set from the beginning. People aren't upset by the way things are. They're upset when their expectations aren't met. So by controlling expectations, you're also, I think, making myself more likable, easy to digest. So when I tell somebody I want 2 takes, yeah, who gives a shit? But if I now want another take and I don't know how to do it,
Yeah,
I'm in my head.
Yes.
Also, if I ask later, they'll be like, we already got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just tell them right
Tell
away.
them up front. They know what they're getting.
I also feel there's a sense of confidence that it's not forced. It's I don't know. It's you tap in. Sometimes you need to psych yourself up for something, or you're feeling ugly, so you need to take a shower, or whatever it may be. There's something. I remember when I first became aware of this when I tested for Undateable. Undateable. It was my first job. Coincidentally, I auditioned for 2 things. I tested for both of them. And I had a little bit of a confidence going in because if this doesn't work, I have this one. I'm friends with the guy on this show. I'm the only one testing for it. So I was lucky. The stars were aligned where I had this confidence that happened to be. But I remember I wanted to do something with a little blocking. And when I walked in, and this was the second test, so Warner Brothers and NBC are there, so there's a lot of people in the room. And there's no practice. You do one take at this point. So, but I had an idea of something I wanted to do. So I walked in and, how are you doing? Good to be here, blah, blah, blah. And I said to the camera person in the back of the room, I'm going to start here. Will you make sure you follow to this part? And at the time, I was just thinking, I just want to make sure this comes on camera. It wasn't until after when I walked out where I thought, that was fucking cool. I walk in, hey, I'm following, make sure you come across, and then, I'm making this up, but I felt like, wow, that guy knows what he wants. So that guy knows what he's doing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I bet that is very true.
And there are some people that would go, that's the energy we want, and other people that go, we do not want that energy on set.
Yes, but better to know that now.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Better to not have that
Totally.
job than to have that for the next year.
Tortured. We were talking about auditions.
Good transition, by the way.
Yeah. As an actor, you go in, a casting director will say, I put a button on it at the end of it.
A tag.
Right.
Like add a punchline.
Joke, a punchline at the end.
Right.
And being on the other side, being a producer and watching the auditions, because you're saying some writers don't like when you add a word here and there. I think we don't care if you add a word. Make it comfortable for you to say the lines. But I think by putting a tag on it or a button, however you want to say it, a lot of times what that shows is maybe you didn't get what the scene was about.
You the actor, or you
the actor? It comes across as you're trying to make me laugh.
Insulting.
Yeah, you're trying to make me laugh at the end when maybe you should have. There's something in there that you could have done that maybe now you missed that.
I think what the casting director is trying to do is saying, let's get everything we need, and then here's your space to show your little flair. But I agree. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just get the words done and then add something. But what I agree with that does is, but when we're doing a scene, I want to add my flair in the scene, not at the end with something that the director is going to say we don't like him.
Right.
So there are some scenes where you could add a button. You could add a little something. Whatever your pause that may or may not work. But you could, if you have something organically there. But there are people that don't like to improvise. It's not their skill set. They do very well with somebody else's written jokes. And now they have to come in and be nervous that they prepared something. Personally, for me, if you say improvise something, I'll say keep the cameras rolling. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but not everybody is that.
Right.
So it's them putting somebody in an uncomfortable situation. I think that I don't know, there's no right and wrong. I just think when you're not allowed to add, it's one thing to change the copy.
Right.
Improvising is not the same thing as making your own choices within a script. And when somebody gives me I did an Intel campaign with Jim Parsons, who is Big Bang Theory. Mm-hmm. For those of you who live in a bubble, it's the most successful show on the air when it was on. All the actors are paid $1 million an episode. It's a science, and they fucking crush it. And he told me that not only is there no improvising, when there's a comma, there must be a pause. There's no...
Yeah.
It's not right or wrong. That's
stifling.
But there are people who
thrive
you develop that skill.
Yeah.
But when you're auditioning and there's no live studio audience and there's no pacing with the other person and the reader isn't giving you that comma, it's like... I'm getting insecure now. I'm feeling myself talking too much about something that I feel way too passionate about.
No, I love it.
No, because it's tough.
It's just tough. It makes auditioning tough when you have rules.
Yes. And particularly the worst thing about that is I don't know that goes on so much in drama, but in a big chunk of comedy, there feels like there's no room. You just the casting director will often say, "No, it's the bellhop. He does this," and you go,
"What do you mean?"
The part, it'll be a guest star.
Right.
You're auditioning for it. And it's so restrictive what the writers want, what the comedy is. It's like they need a robot. Because
you should tell the story, though, your bellhop story. It's very funny.
Oh, yeah, I figured there's something with the bellhop. You tell me the bellhop story.
Well, because I thought I had an epiphany one night.
You thought you did?
I thought because it wasn't one. The epiphany was I had an audition for a part on a multicam so many years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Which one?
It was called I'm with Her.
No, 20 or 15 years ago. We'll be right back.
And we're back. And the part was, it just seemed unfunny. It seemed like a multicam that was not funny. It was about a man dating a woman, and it was something you've seen. It felt very like you've seen it a million times, and it was not funny. I didn't find it funny. I didn't think I could be funny at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly, I thought, wait a second. If just by some magic, Bill Murray was cast in this part, and everyone else was the same, but Bill Murray got to play the bellhop, Hugh, watching this, would laugh. I bet I'd find him funny. I bet I wouldn't know what he's going to do. It'd be Bill Murray. So I thought, I could just do that. I could be that confident and say, this is what I think is funny about this bellhop, and I'm going to do it. And then when they say, we don't like it, I'm going to say, all right, take care. I'm going on my way.
Great attitude so far. Where
Yes,
does this backfire?
here's where it backfires. I did exactly what I wanted. I was funny, interesting, idiosyncratic. I did it my own way. And the guy went, okay, no. You've got to do it like this. And then we just kept doing it. And I should have just said, no, I got to go. I can't. I'm not what you want.
Right.
And instead, I kept trying to be what he wanted until this man was pounding his fist on the desk.
There's something that I learned on Undateable that I don't like, but it's the truth, and it is the way it should be.
Yeah.
We think, as the performer, as the creator, we think our job is to be funny and to look good and to be the best version of what we have to offer. But that's not our job. Our job is to execute the runner's vision. If he's wrong, then the show's bad.
Right.
But that's not you. The best he could do is by getting what he wants, because that's the vision. So that means you have to come in and do what he wants. The reality is what you're saying, listen, I can't make this funny, then you don't do it.
Right.
Or I'm going to show you what I can do, and if you don't like it, that's fine. It's tough when the casting director then says, it's like when you go in for a photo shoot for a show and they want you to go,
Yes.
you have to just refuse to do it. But then you're difficult.
Yes.
Right.
And it's such a fine line of doing what's best for you, being efficient while respecting the production enough to know this is all I could offer, but while also not being difficult or he needs 2 takes or he's making his choices.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My answer to that now is just don't go on the audition. And it's like,
my advice to you would be, one of the biggest hurdles that I'm still having to overcome, but that I'm aware of, and I have some tools, is judging the jokes.
yeah.
And it's not funny. It's not funny. But it's not. But it's on the air, and somebody's going to do it. So if you can't, here's what I didn't know while doing Undateable, and would have loved to. I make jokes about my character, making fun of him and being him, and to me it's funny because it has that level of then do that. Make yourself believe this layer of, oh, I'm going to grab her big fucking tits or whatever the bullshit stupid guy is. It's the same thing, but in your head, I'm
making fun of
I'm making fun of it instead of I'm being forced to do something.
Right.
Judging the joke, which will never go away for, at least not for the 3 of us. I don't know I think you just live, and that's a great place to be.
I lost track of what we're talking about.
Judging the joke makes it very hard to do it, is my long-winded
You're
way
so
around it.
right.
Yes.
You are so right.
Just go.
I love that advice.
So could we get another take from Rachel now? Thank you. The goblin comes in and does his work because you are very much judging it.
Right. Oh, God.
What's the matter, Rachel?
It's just there's so much diarrhea.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's tough. That's a tough area for me.
Not judging
or
blue
potty humor.
Yeah, Aunt Lauren doesn't like scat humor. She said, I don't like scat humor. Called me the other day, texted me, because I had Ethan Suppley on, and I said, what's fun about being able to edit is you could put farts into people whenever they want. So he went like this. She said, I was laughing out loud at the farts. If you mention, if you say I have to go to the bathroom, she'll go, ew, 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 ew.
Interesting.
So it could be contextualized. I think you'll watch this goblin diarrhea and think it's really
only
funny.
if it's free.
It's free.
Okay.
But you know what it will cost? It will cost your Zuki some money. Are you sick and tired of having your vitamin C but it going straight into your pee? The problem is you don't have liposomic vitamin C. What your Zuki does, it offers this neat little package of little bubbles that when it goes in, it actually goes into your system. Now I know what you're thinking. Rick, are you pushing a vitamin on me just to make some money? No, I'm not. Here's the truth. Your Zuki is a brand that's in England only, or not in the States at least. And Betty, who you think is so hot, turned me on to them. love them. I actually feel a difference. They just started working in the United States. Betty contacted them. I just wanted them to send me some product, let alone the money for the ad. So I just want to say a huge shout out to Yurzuki. Thank you so much for making our podcast better by making me better. Do you see how I held too long?
Yeah, but it seemed like you were just talking to a friend in your living room.
It was so good. You know
it
who
was
you
so
remind
natural.
me of? Howard Stern. When Howard Stern does his what promotions, or whatever, I believe him. Same with Andy Cohen to some degree, but it's like whenever I can tell someone's like, I'm going to pretend like I'm like I bought it, and
he's
I think
not
I'll
judging
buy
the
that,
joke.
I'll
He's
buy
not
that
judging the
product,
joke.
unless it's just for men.
That's why, and here's my first advice to you guys when your podcast gets big. Only take on products that you would actually use. Mm-hmm. It's limiting at first. It doesn't mean products you would use. Like Tushy did mine once, which is a bidet. And I go, I guess I'll do it. They sent me one. I always say, like, let me use it first. I use it every poop I do now.
They send you a real bidet?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would love to plug it now, but they weren't happy with how many bought it, and I'm not going to give them a free ad because they didn't give me another chance.
Shame.
But Tushy, it is. It's good. Yeah, use promo code something and get some money off maybe still. But yeah, you want to use products that you use because there is something. Like I've been approached by some like stuff that were pills for certain things. Anyway, I just got really hot.
You're in air conditioning.
I got nervous hot.
Oh,
I
nervous
was just
hot.
talking so much about
Nervous
ads
No.
and.
You could talk. You keep talking. You're delightful.
Yeah, earlier I said I'm going on too much, and you went a little, and I understood what it was, but I also don't think you made it up. So I'm like,
No, and then you know what? Because sometimes I'm also trying to not always feel like I have to like have a joke. So when I said that, I was like, that was dumb, Rachel. And I've been thinking of that ever since. So let's agree to let it go.
No, what you're thinking of is worse and like more like, oh, you did something wrong. Well, I
Yeah.
just was talking too much.
Yeah.
So I would rather you still have that, and I'll have this little
All
thing.
right, I will. I'll hold on to it.
I would love to see, and Rachel, you already did it, but I would love to just have, because I have 3 people on the balcony, it'd be a waste to not. My goblin has never really worked with 3 people at once. Could you all just look up and open your mouths?
Oh,
just
you
for,
did this
just
with
for,
I saw this on your Instagram with Beth.
Yeah, Beth
okay.
Stelling.
Okay.
So then will he go back? The goblin go back and
gonna
forth?
poop.
Well, I mean, you'll see. Just open your mouth and just react.
Well, how do you know when it's hitting your mouth? If he goes, then it's in his mouth.
Hold on,
Can't
come
be
back. Hold on,
mine.
guys. We're not doing anything yet.
Oh,
Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
just react.
yeah, react. Ew. Oh, no.
Great, love it. It's interesting that all of you chose to be disgusted by it instead of having a fun. Like Beth
Yeah.
went, delicious.
She's funny.
She's a comedy
That's
person.
the
probably.
thing.
Another
That's the
choice.
difference.
Oh,
Okay.
Hey, fellow. Hey. Hey.
All right,
Okay.
that's it. Thank you. And Tom, a big shout out to Tom for spending extra time for the piss, shit, cum, spit, and
Yeah.
is there anything else?
You know who I really like? Your friend John. I'm going to give a shout out to him right now. He's very, very likable.
Hold.
Nope. That was my timing.
How do you guys feel this is going?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
What do you
It's very natural.
It
you
was
tell
good.
me if you don't, right?
Absolutely.
What would you say if it wasn't going well?
I would say what I said earlier, that this is boring. This is going to be boring.
I think it's 15 minutes too long. That's my honest opinion.
But we'll be trimming out the first 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, then great.
But you have lost Larry. Larry is only good for a certain amount of
Oh,
time.
you think he's gone?
Larry's gone,
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you get him back or is it done?
No, there's no getting him back.
I bet you I could get him back.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Oh, never mind.
He's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like nothing anyone can do.
I got hungry, and then my back started hurting,
You
and I
also
noticed
got bored.
I got my
Yeah.
back is very sweaty.
Well, let's end it.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I could keep going.
I mean,
That sounds fun.
Imagine,
That's perfect.
imagine fucking somebody.
Yeah, I got more.
I was having sex with somebody. There was a, and this was a long time ago, and compared to Betty, I mean, I don't want to be mean because all women are beautiful except for the ugly ones, and a lot of them are. But this, Betty's the most beautiful by far. But this is a girl that where I was in a phase where I felt like I need to sleep with more people so I could feel like I'm a cooler person.
Okay.
Afterwards, I both now feel like it didn't make me feel any better, no cooler, but also like, no, I'm cooler now because I had sex with more people. So it's up in the air, but I don't regret it. It's like good thing that I now know that you don't need to sleep with people because I wouldn't have known had I not. So it's in a moment where it truly was homework. It was even something I talked to my therapist about. Like, I don't want to do this. A lot of it is fear-based, both on performance and just I don't like them or I don't know them, and condoms are obstacles. All these things. So I'm at a place where I'm not wanting to have sex, but like, I'm supposed to work out and I know the results make me look better. It's just a pain in the ass.
Right.
So there's a girl that I had kind of hooked up with once, and she's whenever she's in the valley, she messages me. And it's like, 1:00. People call it a booty call type of thing. And it's just no. But here's the time it's like, fuck, I have to work out today. And I go, I'm really not in the mood. I said, and I have to wake up early, which was true. If you want to come over for like an hour.
Wow.
But just like an hour, and we can't you know what I mean? And she goes, fine, we'll be in and out. And she came over, and then you still have to what'd you do today? Or, and then you go like, all right, I guess I'll find a way of getting hard with you. I'm not interested in this. Mm-hmm. So it happened, it worked, you suck my cock, you get a little hard, you figure it out, and then we're having sex, and I gave her enough. Whatever that means, I'll be realistic. It was probably, it's 8 minutes.
Okay.
We had sex.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, I didn't say like I'm gonna, all right, I'll everything, I've just had people come and shit in your mouth. I can't say I'm going to come now, but there's something real about the story that didn't feel
intimate. It's more intimate.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, the other one was a character, and this is more like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but like, I'm going to come. And she goes, no, like she wants more. So like, I have to be a good host, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go on for another, I don't know, let's say now it's 8 minutes. It's less than 10, another minute or two. And, I go, all right, I'm gonna, and she goes, no. And I said, and I remember laughing after, but not knowing it was funny during it. I'm on top. I go, you're really milking this. And it wasn't like shticky. I go, you're really milking this. And she went, what I felt like what I got from you was she went, oh, okay, and just like, oh, like she's like, oh, you could come if you want to come. Like it was just like, but like I said an hour.
Yeah.
It's been more than an hour.
Yeah.
Let me come.
Yeah.
Let me come.
Yeah.
So I did I didn't do, or basically I don't know what I did, but like, listen, here's what I'm best at.
Set up the expectations.
Here's the expectations.
Yeah.
And I went into the room and I gave my rendition of the bellhop, and she said, could you do more multicam? And I said, no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have to say, and I'm not just saying this, I have never come like I have with Betty. Okay, you're the most beautiful, the smartest, everything about it. I didn't want to have sex with her.
Yeah.
I had to because my therapist made me.
Yeah.
She said, you need to fuck tons of girls. And I went to town. Anyway. Is that it? Is that how I'm closing? Talking about...
it's great,
talking about
though.
telling a girl
It's a
enough
great
already?
story.
Maybe.
Yeah. Tied it together.
How's
your thumb?
Oh, yeah. How did you do it? How'd you burn it?
I opened my coffee machine, and I realized I did something that I have not yet done in the couple years I've had this machine. I forgot to empty the coffee grounds. So not only are the wet coffee grounds in there, it's also still wet. It's been a couple of days. Is it mildewy? I don't know. So I ran the coffee machine to go hot before I washed it. It didn't go down. It filled the reservoir.
Oh, it started coming up.
Yeah, but it made it right to the top. It was fine. So I unplugged to dump it out, dump out all over my thumb.
Yeah.
Betty, when she was here, burnt herself, and we got this prescription silver cream. It's magic.
Can they be a sponsor?
It's a prescription.
Oh.
There is an over-the-counter one, but it's not as strong, and I tried both. The over-the-counter one, it soothed a little bit. It was still hurting a lot. I put that stuff, I'm also on a painkiller right now. But
what'd you take?
It's not a Percocet, but it is a codeine, I think.
Okay.
Tylenol 3, whatever that is.
Nice.
It's fantastic. So, shout out to Betty for burning herself so we could have the.
Yeah,
I'm
the
glad
silver
you're
on
okay.
here.
Yeah, because you said you even put it out there like we might need to reschedule.
Well, it was so close to you getting here. It was already last minute. I didn't want to message you as you were walking out the door.
Right.
I wanted to it's basically before the poop comes out, your stomach feels something. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have to run to the bathroom, but I know I need to be around a bathroom just in case.
Mm-hmm.
So I messaged you, and then after putting the stuff on, it's like, I'll be okay.
Oh, I know a cute ending that ties it all. The name of our chat, the name of our group that you named when the four of us text, you named it. What did you name it?
Mostly Jews. What an ending. You didn't even say it. You made me say it because you knew it wouldn't get a laugh.
Well, your time. You got to work on your time.
Timing.
I'm vibrating. Hold on 1 second.
Take a
What did
call.
I tell you? What did I tell you?
I'm in the mouth.
What do
The
you
tongue.
have? What do you have on now that people could still see? I mean, Nobodies they could see, I guess, on iTunes.
I think
Think
it's
so.
on YouTube. I'm not
It's
even
on
joking.
Hulu.
But not
It's
officially
on Hulu,
on
but you have to. I'm sorry, Amazon Prime, but you have to pay for it.
That's where
even
I got
though
it.
it's on Amazon Prime.
You know, I rented the first season before we did it.
And did you like it? You can be honest.
Yes,
Were you
And
in
Mike
the first
Tyson
you
Mysteries
weren't
just
in the
went
first
to,
season?
correct. I'm
Mike-
just saying, I paid for your content multiple times. Go ahead.
Mike Tyson Mysteries just went to Hulu.
Are you? That's where it's
Which is
living,
nice.
but there's no more seasons.
No more seasons as of this
And
podcast.
then yeah, we have two
new things,
percolating,
but we can't say. We can't
But
say.
are they picked up yet?
Yeah,
So you will have two things that are going to be out there. Are any of them animated?
One.
one animated, one not animated, but with a big star.
Jesus, don't say all
Well,
this
tell me who the
stuff.
star
A
is.
huge fucking star.
We'll tell you
A big
off
fish,
the air.
a big
off
fish.
The air.
We reeled in a
the
big one this
announcements
time.
haven't. You know, I don't know if any of that matters. Like
It
it, hasn't
does.
been a deadline yet.
It does matter. You two are in dangerous territory.
When will it be out? The deadline, or the
Hopefully
announcement?
soon.
Well, this won't be out for a couple weeks.
I bet by then.
Here's what I'd like from you, and I mean this. I want you to tell me who it is, and if the announcement was not out by then, I bleep it all.
Don't do it.
No, we
You
can't.
think you don't trust me?
I don't trust.
We don't.
There's an accident that could somehow
It's the
happen.
universe. It's
Well,
the universe.
I just want people who are listening to this, if they could know, to know.
Well, you could Chiron it.
On the YouTube, I'll put up a picture, but here's what I'll do. For the audio only, I'll say who it is now, and
Okay.
I'll put it in if we know. I'm actually surprised that you guys finally got. He's really great.
She.
Oh, then who gives a shit?
There's your ending.
Your ending's your beginning.
Ah.
You guys, thank you for so much film. Have a good.
It's great seeing you, Rick. It
is
we've
great to
missed
see
We've
you.
missed you. We've
Thank
missed
you.
you.
Yeah.
Miss you guys too.
Yeah.
You know what? You had a
We're
thing-
out of time, bud.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah.